A black cat crosses your path. You stop, maybe for a second, maybe longer. Something inside you twitches, a faint, almost unnoticeable but very real flicker of unease. Maybe you walk around that spot. Maybe you wait for someone else to go first. Maybe you just shrug it off and keep going. But somewhere at the edge of your mind, something lingers. You don't know why. You don't believe in superstitions. You're a rational person. A cat is just an animal. Black is just a color. A road is just asphalt. And yet, that twitch. Today we're breaking down where this instinct comes from, and the story behind it. It's not about superstition, it's about 3,000 years of human relationship with one animal. A relationship that changed 3 times, from goddess to demon to symbol of luck. And every single shift had very concrete reasons and very concrete consequences. One of those consequences, the death of 1/3 of Europe's population. But more on that later. Let's start at the beginning. From the moment when the black cat wasn't a curse, but a goddess. Egypt, roughly 3,000 years BC. If you're living in ancient Egypt and you see a cat cross your path, you don't stop in fear. You stop in reverence. You take a step back, you let it pass. Because this isn't just an animal. This is a messenger of the gods. The cat in Egyptian culture held a place that's hard to overstate. The goddess Bastet, one of the major deities of the Egyptian pantheon, was depicted with the head of a cat. She was the goddess of home, fertility, protection, and joy. Her temple in the city of Bastet was one of the most visited in Egypt. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote that festivals in honor of Bastet drew more people than any other religious celebrations in the country. Cats lived in the temples. Priests cared for them. They were fed the best food. Their death was mourned like the death of a family member. Egyptians shaved their eyebrows as a sign of grief for a deceased cat. And killing a cat, whether intentional or accidental, was punishable by death. Not a fine, not prison, death. Diodorus Siculus, a Greek historian from the 1st century BC, describes a specific case. A Roman soldier accidentally killed a cat in Egypt. The Egyptian mob tore him apart, even though it could have sparked a serious diplomatic conflict with Rome. No one stopped. No one tried to defend the soldier. The law mattered more than diplomacy. Why the cat? Why this animal of all became sacred? Several reasons, and they're all very practical. Egypt was an agrarian civilization. Grain was the foundation of life. Grain storage was a strategic resource, and the main threat to grain storage, rats and mice. The cat was the only effective pest control. One cat in a granary could save enough supplies to feed a family for a year. Cats literally saved lives. But the Egyptians went beyond the practical explanation. They observed the cat and saw something more. A cat can see in the dark. A cat hunts at night, the time when evil spirits are most active. A cat kills snakes, including cobras, deadly in the Egyptian climate. According to Egyptian mythology, the sun god Ra himself, in the form of a ginger tomcat, fought the great serpent Apep every night, the symbol of chaos and darkness. The cat was a guardian, a protector, a being that stands between people and the darkness. And that's why it became a goddess. And the black cat in particular, it wasn't any scarier or more dangerous than any other cat. Color didn't matter. What mattered was the cat as a species, as a being. This tradition lasted for thousands of years. Egyptian cats were so valuable that exporting them was banned. Phoenician traders smuggled them out and sold them across the Mediterranean for huge sums. Gradually, through trade, war, and migration, cats spread all over Europe, and everywhere they went, they were valued, useful, respected, until one moment, one man, one document. 1233, Rome, Pope Gregory IX. And after that document, nothing was the same. Subscribe if you haven't already, because the story gets much darker from here. Next, a papal decree that declared the cat the embodiment of the devil, and a chain of events that led from that decree to the deaths of millions. 1233, Rome. Pope Gregory IX sits at his desk and signs a document. The document is called Vox in Rama, Voice in Rama. It's a papal bull, an official decree from the highest church authority in the Catholic world. In that document, he describes a ritual of devil worship supposedly practiced by heretics in Germany. The description is detailed and vivid. A new initiate enters a secret gathering. He's greeted by a pale, thin man. Then a giant toad appears, then a black cat. The black cat walks backwards. The heretics kiss it under the tail. The cat is the devil. The cat is the embodiment of evil. Gregory IX wrote this based on reports from inquisitors who interrogated people accused of heresy. Under torture, people confessed to anything, including worshipping black cats. The Pope believed it, or pretended to, and he issued the decree. Officially, by the Church, the black cat was declared the embodiment of the devil. The consequences were immediate. Across Europe, persecution of cats began. Not just black ones, eventually all cats fell under suspicion. They were killed, burned, especially on religious holidays. In some regions of France, there was a tradition of burning live cats in bonfires on Midsummer's Eve. Crowds gathered to watch. It was considered a godly act. In Strasbourg, they burned cats in sacks. In Metz, in specially built cages. French kings sometimes personally lit the fires. This went on for centuries. From the 13th to the 17th century, 400 years, cats were systematically and deliberately killed in Europe. The cat population plummeted, and then came the rats. Well, rats had always been there, but cats kept their numbers in check. Without cats, rats bred out of control. With no natural predator, their population exploded. Rats lived alongside people, in homes, in grain stores, on ships. They ate the same food, drank the same water, slept in the same rooms. And they carried fleas. And those fleas carried Yersinia pestis, the bacterium that causes bubonic plague. 1347. Genoese trading ships arrive from the east at the Sicilian port of Messina. Nearly all the sailors on board are dead. The survivors are covered in black boils oozing blood and pus. The ships are immediately driven out of the port, but it's too late. The plague is already on land. Over the next 5 years, it kills between 30 and 60% of Europe's population. Estimates range from 25 to 50 million people, a third of the continent. Entire cities die out. There's no one to bury the dead, no one to harvest the crops, no one to tend the livestock. The social structure Europe had built for 1,000 years collapses in just a few years. Was the plague a direct result of the extermination of cats? Historians are cautious about drawing direct cause and effect links. The plague came from the east, from Central Asia, through Crimea, along trade routes. It spread across the entire world, not just Europe, where they were killing cats. But here's what's indisputable. In Europe, where cats had practically disappeared, the rat population was out of control. That created ideal conditions for a disease spread by rat fleas, moving from animal to animal, and from animal to human. Eliminating the main natural predator of rats in Europe didn't cause the plague, but it set the stage for the plague to spread at maximum speed and with maximum casualties. Pope Gregory IX died in 1241, 100 years before the plague. He never learned the consequences of his document, but there were consequences. 400 years of cat persecution, unchecked rats, a plague that killed a third of Europe. It all started with a single document, with a single man, with a single decision to declare an animal the embodiment of the devil. And here's what makes this story especially bitter. Cats saved Egypt from rats 3,000 years ago. Cats were prized precisely because they killed rodents. Everyone knew that. It was practical knowledge passed down through generations. And still, when the church declared the cat a devil, that knowledge didn't help. Fear proved stronger than practical wisdom. People killed the animals that protected them, and they paid for it with millions of lives. If you like the way we break things down here, hit like right now, because in the final part, the story takes a turn you won't expect. While Europe was destroying cats, on the other side of the world, something completely opposite was happening. In Japan. And there, the black cat still waves its paw at you from the window of every restaurant. Japan, 9th century AD. Around the same time the church in Europe was beginning to look at cats with suspicion, in Japan, cats had just appeared. They were brought from China, specifically, deliberately, as a precious gift to the imperial court. The first documented cat in Japan appeared in 999 AD. Emperor Ichijo wrote in his diary that a white cat gave birth to kittens in the palace, and it was seen as a good omen, a lucky sign. a blessing for the entire country. Cats at the Japanese imperial court lived like aristocrats. They were kept on silk leashes, given court titles, fed delicacies. For a long time, commoners were forbidden from owning a cat. It was a privilege of the nobility. While Europe was burning cats at the stake, Japan was giving them noble titles. But the Japanese story of the cat isn't just a story of luxury. It's also the story of one specific image you've seen 1,000 times and probably never thought about where it came from. Maneki neko, the cat that waves its paw. Porcelain, plastic, with a raised front paw that moves slowly up and down. It stands in the window of every Japanese restaurant, every Chinese shop, every Asian establishment around the world. You've seen it hundreds of times. You thought it was just a decorative element, a cute souvenir. It's not a souvenir. It's a protective amulet with a history over 1,000 years. There are several legends about the origin of Maneki neko. The most famous one, about a feudal lord and a cat at a temple, 17th century. A Japanese feudal lord is riding his horse past a poor Buddhist temple. A cat sits at the entrance and waves its paw at him. The gesture is so unusual that the lord stops, gets off his horse, approaches the temple. At that moment, a lightning bolt strikes the exact spot where he was standing. The cat saved his life. The feudal lord becomes the temple's patron. The temple thrives, and the cat, after its death, becomes a symbol of luck and protection. People start carving its image from wood, porcelain, and metal. They place it at the entrances of homes and shops. That raised paw, waving, it's an invitation. Come in, luck is with you, everything will be fine. The right paw raised attracts money and fortune. The left paw raised draws people and customers. Gold means financial prosperity. White means purity and positive energy. Black means protection from evil spirits. A black Maneki neko wards off evil. In Japan, a black cat is the complete opposite of what Westerners think. And Japan isn't alone in this. British sailors, men who risked their lives at sea and were deeply superstitious, specifically kept black cats on their ships. Only black ones. They believed a black cat brought good luck on voyages. Sailors' wives kept black cats at home to protect their husbands far out at sea. In Scotland, a black cat appearing on your doorstep is a sign of prosperity. In Ireland, good luck. In parts of Germany and Austria, if a black cat crosses your path from left to right, it's good luck. Right to left, bad luck. Direction matters, not color. So who's right? The Egyptians, who saw a goddess in the cat? The medieval church, which saw the devil? The Japanese, who see good fortune? The British sailors, who saw a protector? The answer, they're all right. Within their own belief system, within their cultural context, within their own history, each of them was absolutely consistent. The cat didn't change. The people looking at it did. And here's what that says about the nature of superstition, the nature of fear, the nature of symbols themselves. A symbol isn't a property of the object, it's a property of the observer. A black cat carries neither good luck nor bad. It carries whatever the culture you grew up in placed in it. An Egyptian saw a protector. A medieval European saw the devil. A Japanese person sees luck. A British sailor saw an ally. The same pupil, the same black fur, the same movement across the road. Four completely different beings. Now, back to you. A black cat crosses your path. You stop. Something twitches inside. Now you know where that comes from. It comes from medieval Europe, from a papal decree in 1233, from the fear the church deliberately created around this animal, from 400 years of cultural memory passed down from generation to generation, even when the specific meaning was long forgotten. You're not afraid of the devil. You don't believe in 13th century papal decrees, but the instinct they created, it's in you. It's lived for 800 years. It outlived the Reformation, the Enlightenment, the Scientific Revolution, 2 world wars, and the internet. It's still there, in that slight unease you felt when the cat crossed the road. Now imagine you were born in Japan. A black cat crosses your path, and you smile. Good sign. The day will be lucky. The same moment, the same animal. 2 completely different feelings. This isn't about the cat. This is about who you are, about where you were born, about the stories you were told as a child. Superstition is cultural memory. It doesn't live in objects or animals. It lives in people, in you. And knowing this is the most interesting thing you can do with a superstition. Not destroy it, not ignore it, but understand where it came from. Because every superstition is a window into history, into real people, real events, real fears that led to the feeling you're having right now. A black cat is a window into Egypt 3,000 years ago, into 13th century Rome, into 9th century Japan, into the hold of a 17th century British ship. Next time one crosses your path, you'll know all of this. And what you feel, unease or a smile, will be your choice. A conscious one, not automatic. That's what history gives you. If this video changed something in how you see the world, hit like. It's a signal to keep digging. Because there are so many more stories like this. Behind every symbol you took for granted, there's a chain just like this one. Goddess, devil, luck. 3,000 years. One animal. Next video, the red thread. You've seen it on people's wrists. Kabbalah, Hinduism, Buddhism, Slavic paganism, all of them independently arrived at the same thing. A red thread on the wrist as protection against the evil eye. Why red? Why thread? Why the wrist? And why 4 completely different traditions with no contact with each other chose the exact same solution? See you then.